friend's place in Wanaka. It was a bit of a flying visit, really. We ticked off a couple of things to do in Wanaka, but there is still way more we want to do. So Wanaka, we will be back. So we managed to get our e-bike serviced at a place called Good Rotations, so I can recommend them if you need to get your e-bike serviced. And we're now back on the road and don't have a long trip again today, which is our style, and we are going to be staying over in Cromwell. Beautiful day, the sun is shining, and we will be looking at some things to do in Cromwell. Safe and sound in Cromwell, and we are at the Rotary Glen NZMCA Park. So the park's set up for members. There are two parks. There's another park in Lowburn which is out of town a little bit, and this one here is the closest into town, but because of their resource consent conditions, although it is a huge park, you can't have any more than 10 vans parked here. So we're here nice and early. There is only 6 other vehicles here on our arrival, so we're all good to go. We're all set up. Maximum time you can stay here is 3 nights, so we're going to make the most of that and stay for our 3 nights and explore what Cromwell has to offer, which I'm very excited about. It's been a long time since I've been to Cromwell, so we're going to take the bikes down soon and cycle around to get our bearings. So the sun's still shining, long may it last. So hard to imagine that this place where I am here, right behind me underneath all that water, is the old town. And of course it was drowned with the building of the Clyde Dam, and Lake Dunstan was formed. And this is the side of the old bridge that used to go across, and right by the old bridge is the old town. So underneath the water behind me is a whole town, orchards, farms, everything got submerged in the big projects to build the hydroelectric scheme down here. Some pretty interesting signboards along the trail here. So in the background there is a picture of how this hall used to look and how much of it has filled in when they developed Lake Dunstan. And here's just the top of the building here that you can see, pretty much nearly from the top of the window up, just all being buried right next door to the lake. Imagine what's under that water. We've driven up further from the start of the Bendigo Reserve, Goldfields Reserve, and we have reached Welshtown. Now Welshtown was situated here on the hilltop, and it wasn't as important as Logantown, which was the other gold settlement up here as well, but there's some pretty cool ruins along here. So a photographer's heaven, really. So let's go exploring along one of the tracks. So the life of a quartz miner was particularly hard because they had to mine solid rock to get the gold out. So not like the alluvial gold where they found it in streams and riverbeds. So below us where we're walking is just a rabbit warren of tunnels which have to be aired by shafts. So you're just walking along the old dray track where the old horse and carts used to go, and you just come across all these shafts that go down a very, very long way. So we keep coming across these old ruins of small huts. So we thought that they were old houses, but the sign tells us that they're actually storage sheds for all the explosives. So we've come across a couple of them now, but that'll explain why they don't have any windows. So what we're looking at here are the drill holes. Point to the drill holes, Scotty. Yeah, all the drill holes. So this ground that we're standing on would have once been right at the top of that rock. And this is their drill holes to loosen up the ground to dig it out. So we're on the site of the old Matilda battery. All that's left here are the stone foundations, but this proved to be the most profitable quartz mining site in the whole of Otago. But it was hard going, it was hard work. For every tonne of quartz that was mined, it was deemed to be profitable if they could get 1 ounce of gold out of it. So there are a heap of tailings all around us where we can see that they've been steadily doing all the mining. And then it was deemed unprofitable in the early 1900s when the supply eventually started to run out. Whoa! That was a long one.
And it was right under water.
Holy moly, that fell forever. Oh,
Thin. Jesus.
that is seriously deep. Thompson Gorge Road from the terrace end, and it goes all the way through to Clyde. It's not a very well used, I'm going to call it a track. It has to be 4-wheel drive, and it's a dry weather road only, and it's self-recovery. That puts the heebies up me whenever I see that. So we've travelled along this track, and I've opened 5 gates, 5 farm gates to get here. And we're going to go to the Come-in-Time battery. Come-in-Time battery is a fully restored stamping battery that they use. God knows what they were doing. We're in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, stamped out the gold out of the quartz.
And if you did come in the road, you could come in with a 4x2, but they say it has to be dry. But there is some good deep ruts.
Deep ruts.
You just have to be mindful.
Deep ruts. Did you get that as he was walking away and still talking? He said deep ruts. We've made it to the Come-in-Time battery, and the sign says noisy, wet, dusty, cold and dangerous. So it sums it up in those few words. But it's all been beautifully restored, and it just amazes me how they got it in here to start with. And so they would have heard the pounding of the stampers going. I think they went 24/7, didn't
They
they?
must have done. It was all inside a big corrugated.
Yeah, it was all covered in a big corrugated shed, and you just would have constantly heard the bang, bang, bang as they were thumping the ore and gold out of the quartz rocks that were brought down by overhead buckets down the big hillside around us here. So the noise would have travelled for miles because we've got gullies and hills all around us, so the noise would have been bouncing off them the whole time.